Heyo! You're watching the Green Dream Project. Jim here.
And Jessica.
So a lot of people have been having questions about like exactly what's going on with the build, why there's no work being done on the outside, if we're ever going to get back to the outside, what's going on. And you've been missing from the videos. Not that you haven't been in there totally, just not as much as like you used to. Kind of wanted to answer some of those questions, kind of get into why that is, kind of just some behind the scenes stuff. What's going on? Because you don't know the full story, just part of it. So we're going to give you a little bit of behind the scenes and find out, like, are you done with the build? Are you over this? Some people make comments like, oh, she doesn't look happy. She doesn't look like she's into this build anymore.
Actually, moving out here and building an earth bag home, I think was my idea in the first place.
It's funny because some people make comments again like, oh, what are you doing dragging her into this? And why are you making her live out in the middle of nowhere, building this home out of dirt? She deserves better than that. But yeah, it's kind of like your dream, your interest.
It's something that I had been thinking about and wanting to do for many years before we actually even did that. So I don't think either one of us were forcing each other to do anything we didn't want to do. You've been very supportive of what I wanted, and I think you've made that part of your dream as well.
My dream is to make your dreams come true. So what is going on? Why is work stopped on the outside of the dome? I think if people are newer to the channel, they might not even realize what we have done to the outside to start protecting it. So, we built this dome out of bags of dirt, and then we covered that with cob.
Over the cob that's covering the earth bags, I started putting some rocks in there with a little more cob. And then over that, I put a lime plaster and then did a lime wash on that. And that is supposed to weatherproof the outside.
And the parts you have done have stood up tremendously to some pretty intense weather.
Yes.
So it's definitely, I think, the way we're going to go for the rest of the top.
People might think with the cob, it's mostly mud, with some straw in there, that will just wash away right away as soon as it rains. And it doesn't really work like that. It does just slowly wear down. So like if you don't want to have to keep reapplying it, then you do need some kind of covering over that. So that's what we've been working on. So far, I've only covered the very top of the dome, and what I was gonna do is just kind of work my way down from the top. But yeah, I kind of stopped doing that for a while.
And I've offered to kind of help with that, but you kind of wanted to take that on yourself. When it comes to finishing touches, you like to sort of take control of that.
Well, it's something I enjoy, and I feel like I'm better suited for that than you are, just because I tend to be more detail oriented and you're more like get it done.
Yes.
So I think you're good for more the initial steps to like get things going and get that to a functional state, and then I can finish things off.
And she beatifies it.
Yeah.
Oh, good teamwork.
So I think the plan was going to be you would continue on, you would be working on more of the things inside the dome so that we can actually start moving in here. Mm-hmm. And then I would continue working on finishing the outside. But then I feel like some things came up and it was really affecting me to the point where I was finding it really hard to stay motivated to keep working on that, and I had to kind of take a step back. I was getting kind of stressed out and overwhelmed by some things. One thing was our dogs. Our dogs are really important to us. They're a big part of our life, and we got a new dog this past summer, Yuvia. That was a big sort of challenge. It kind of upset the the regular routine here, that was kind of stressful for me.
We do pretty well doing like shared responsibilities with the dogs. I pretty much kind of like walk the dogs for the most part. You kind of take care of their food. But I think it's just that stress of sort of like their interrelationships, like the fact that they didn't really get along too well. Of course, their relationship's gotten a little bit better, but they still not best buds quite yet.
Also, there's things going on with my family that I'm worrying about. That's been weighing on my mind and my heart a lot. Also, I was kind of worried about our finances and our business and what we were gonna do with that going forward. So I got a little sidetracked with that. I was trying to learn a little bit more about business and online business and like seeing what more we could do with that to make sure that we would be financially stable and sustainable in the future. So that took a lot of my time and attention for a while.
All that had a cascading effect, right? Then you started worrying about that amongst other things, and then just kind of brought things to a standstill a little bit.
Yeah, that's one thing about me. When I get a lot of stress, when there's a lot of like emotional turmoil or things going on, I get overwhelmed, and then I'm not really sure how to move forward. I think this has been an opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about myself and kind of what makes me tick, how my mind works, and I think that's been a positive thing because I'm a very sensitive person when it comes to like emotions and just like sensory things too.
I mean, I think people have heard the term like being a sensitive person or being overly sensitive. But in your case, it is pretty extreme, as in like not something that you can just, like get over it. Get over your sensitivities. Like it's literally like you're super sensitive to those physical and emotional overloads.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think a lot of people understand. It's something that I didn't quite understand myself.
People might mistake these people for being kind of like cold or selfish or uncaring, or you're not super forward with those emotions.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like, there's different types of sensitive people, and there's different ways that people cope with that. On the one hand, you might be overly sensitive and too emotional,
Yeah.
and or you might be more withdrawn. And that's me. I'm more withdrawn, so I don't always show that emotion, but I feel it really deeply. That's often looked at as kind of a weakness. You're too sensitive, you gotta toughen up or something. But it can definitely be something that's debilitating. It can affect your life in a lot of ways. But if you learn to manage it, it can be a real blessing. It can be a strength. Being more aware of yourself and your surroundings, being like hyper aware, it gives you great insight. It can produce some amazing results, but it's just about learning how to manage that. So,
I mean, that's definitely probably tied into your creativity and the wonderful things you can sort of like create.
I think it is. Like, that's probably what has drawn me to creating things. Yeah, hopefully, like, as I learn more about that, how to deal with being like that myself, I can share that with everyone. Maybe there's some other people watching that are in a similar situation. And if you're not, I mean, I just want to let people know like the positives to allowing yourself to be more sensitive and be more aware of yourself and all the beauty that's around you. Definitely for this type of lifestyle that we're living, it's a real benefit, but for any lifestyle, I think it can really help you to live a better life.
I mean, the sensitivity issues are probably why we live in the middle of nowhere right now. Just getting away from all the sounds and lights of the city to a much quieter area. And she just has to deal with me and the dogs, which is still pretty annoying, but she can deal with them a little bit better. So I've been pushing forward on some of these projects, and Jess has still been there as kind of a support. Even though you've been doing a lot of work with the online course and a lot of reading, I mean, you've still been there. But I think you're ready to get back into it. I think you feel motivated to get back into this build. And you've started again working on the door here, and that is almost done.
Mm-hmm. And after that, I'll probably jump back into working on the outside of the dome.
So there'll be a two-pronged effort. Some people might disagree with that. Some people might say, hey, you guys should focus energies on one thing. But again, you're kind of taking that on yourself to kind of knock out the outside, so I can kind of and then I'll put those energies to the inside and get this kind of a more livable space.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Like, we try to work to our own strengths when we can.
And I think that'll work out real nice.
Yeah, I'm feeling more excited about getting back into the work now, and I have some new ideas too for the outside of the dome, another addition that I think is going to be really cool, and I'm excited about that.
These days have been getting shorter and colder, so that doesn't help productivity at all. It slows us both down. But the shortest day of the year is right around the corner, and then the days will have more daylight to work with, and things will be warming up eventually in a few months. But until then, we're going to keep on hitting it. We're going to keep on moving right along with this build. Just getting back into the work and turning this house into a place that we can call home. So thanks so much for watching, and if you made it this far, definitely give it a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next video, y'all. Bye.